Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I have a question if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. What is the color of your heart today? What is the color of your heart today? And I'll tell you mine really soon. But if you're joining me on any of my platforms, what is the color of your heart today? There's a lot that's been going on in the last 2 weeks and also just this weekend. Lots of stuff has been happening and lots of stuff is happening right now. I'm in New York. I can hear all these sounds. Okay, so Shines is yellow. Okay. Shelly, your color is not known, but you're very sad. Thank you for sharing that, Shelly. And I went on Insta after a long time. Um, I am going to stop the Insta in a little bit, but do join me on Facebook or YouTube so I can read. Vavashi, okay, maybe blue. All right. Mine, the color of my heart today is kind of this very light green. It's just super light. It's almost like, so in some light it looks like white. Palak's is light blue, bright orange, a little gray, and a light pink. Okay. Yeah, so let me know what color your heart is today. And I was really saddened this weekend. I mean, there's just so much going on. Black Lives Matter. We lost an amazing actor in India. We also lost an amazing music entrepreneur in India. Just a lot is going on. And then COVID and whatnot. And I recently was thinking about this phrase, how are you? You know? And I remember, especially when I first joined Berkeley, the way Berkeley is structured is that there are these different buildings in different parts of the main area where Berkeley is. It's not a typical campus, it's an urban campus. And so in my first couple of semesters, I'd see a teacher, I'd see a friend walking by and they say, "Hey, how are you?" And I would start to answer and I realized that, oh, they've already passed me. So it wasn't really that they necessarily wanted to know, but maybe they felt an obligation. And I think we all do that, right? We call someone and the first thing is like, "Hi, how are you?" And I don't know that we necessarily want to know. And in some cases, I also don't know that we necessarily know how we're doing. I've found recently in conversations with people that how are you is sometimes a very overwhelming question. Sometimes it's too abstract to answer. And, the default is what? I'm fine. But sometimes that's not even true. Sometimes people aren't doing exactly fine. And I think when we check in with people, maybe if we check in with a little more intention, it might be helpful, and it might allow people to actually tell us how they're doing. I was reading up a beautiful, beautiful account called Revelatory, Revelatori. The artist's name is Tori Press, I believe. And another artist, also on Instagram, Keely Shaw Art. And both of them have, some ideas about this question, how are you? And how to maybe have better conversations with each other. And Tori says that sometimes when she says, "I'm fine," what she actually means are things are kind of terrible, but I feel it's weird to say so I'll just say, "I'm fine." Or other people have it much worse than me, so I don't feel like I'm allowed to complain, so I'm fine. Sometimes it's, "I hope you don't ask me if I'm learning anything new or if I'm learning new skills. I am not." So it's just easier to just say, "I'm fine," and stop the conversation there. Sometimes Tori says, I'm not sure if I've reached a state of calm acceptance or if I'm just completely numb to my feelings. So, again, I'll just say, I'm fine. How are you is often an unanswerable question, or it's a question that maybe we don't really answer truthfully. And so what if we shifted that? In our conversations, both as people who are asking others how they're doing, and also in terms of our close friends and our close family members, maybe we can share what is a more healthy, what is a more useful question, right? Instead of putting you on the spot, how are you? Or kind of seeking only a superficial response and therefore getting only a superficial response. A lot of people reacted to the young actor who passed away recently, who died by suicide. They reacted saying, you should reach out, people should reach out. And sometimes, you know what? They have reached out, and it's hard. It's hard because I think, especially in India and a lot of other parts of the world, there's stigma surrounding depression, there's stigma surrounding anxiety, there's stigma surrounding fear or any sort of mental health element that may be part of your life. And so, if you just say, how are you? Sometimes that's where the conversation ends. So here are a couple of ideas that I got both from Keely Shaw and from Revelatory. And one of the ones is what we asked today: what is the color of your heart? And it was so beautiful to see people responding to that. My heart is yellow, sky, and royal blue. Or Ajit said, my heart is a bit darker in red and black, shades of red and black. And I think that's such a beautiful way to open a conversation, because you can ask gently, you can say, why, do you want to talk about that? And that could open up, it's a door. It's a different kind of door, which is not asking you to define how you are in this moment very quickly. So here's a couple of ideas. One is, when you don't know how to check in with someone, or just in general, as a rule, it could be nice to ask, to offer support without asking questions. Maybe a check in is, hey, I miss you. I'm checking in. I hope you're okay. And I'm here if you're struggling. Just as simple as that. It leaves it open ended. It leaves the person realizing that someone's checking in on them, but maybe there's no pressure to answer immediately. And then another way is asking something specific. So, how have you been sleeping? Or, what's the color of your heart today? Or, how does it feel to be you right now? I found that also in the Black Lives Movement, there's just so many layers that we cannot understand unless we are really from the Black community. And so, how does it feel to be you today? How was a specific thing in your day? Maybe what did you eat today? Another thing could be curious. Maybe share a tiny insight into how you're doing, and then ask, let's say, I'm not having much of an appetite right now. Is there something that's helping you to cope right now? And again, you see how it opens up the conversation. It's not such a black and white conversation like, how are you? I'm fine. Or asking about different things. Have you read anything inspiring lately? Or what are you watching nowadays? If you're watching any shows. Another thing is, of course, and this is a little bit more, post lockdown, but it can be during lockdown, maybe offering to do an activity together. Sometimes people just want a little bit of company without trying to analyze what they're feeling. And so, do you want to watch a movie together on Zoom? Or do you want to, have just have a chat? Or tell you what, let's both exercise and check in with each other and make sure that we're not pressuring each other, but just being excited when we did exercise, and then just make sure you follow up. And then simply holding space is so, so powerful for people. telling someone or sending a text saying, I care about you, you're on my mind, you don't need to respond. I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you. And that can again give the person an entry if they want to talk about it. Now, one thing that's happened with some of my friends has been that they go into long periods of silence. And I get worried, you know, and I think this happens with families, this happens with friends. It could even be someone at work where you don't know if they're okay and they're just being silent. Maybe you've reached out a lot of times. If that happens, one of the things I've been using is having a series of safe words with my friends. And so there's, let's say even a one word saying, yes, I'm okay. So that puts your mind at rest. Not that you're the most important in this situation. And having that safe word is really important. So we've been using mouse, panda, and whale. So mouse indicates to me, and these are, long conversations that I've had with my friends where they have finally decided these are the three words they want to use. And it allows me to know where they're from, where they're coming from. And it also gives them the space that they need. Mouse usually means I'm not in a good place. I'm feeling really small right now. Please continue to reach out and I'll try to get in touch soon. Panda is usually I'm kind of in a good place, but I may not want to talk right now. And whale is usually you know what, I'm so good, or I am, really, I am taking up all my personal space right now. The whale is just so you know, I am alive, I'm okay, and that's it. Do not ask more. Keep at least a day or 2 days before you ask me. And this has really helped us because they understand that there's someone who wants to know how they're doing. And I've understood when they need space just by using those three little phrases, little words: mouse, panda, and whale. And somehow it always makes us smile when we, do this little exercise. So I hope that going forward, you know, we actually pick up the phone and call people, and or sometimes realizing that maybe people just need a little bit of space, but there are so many beautiful ways to reach out, much more leading to open conversations than how are you. So let me know what works for you. Let me know what works with your family, with your friends, or even with you personally. How would you like to be checked in with? And let's keep checking on each other. So I hope you have a beautiful week. It is Monday. I'm so proud of us. We have reached another episode. Let's just remember that when we check in on each other, when we check in on others, it's still got to be more about them than us. And that's hard to do sometimes as a parent and sometimes as a friend. But it's a muscle, it's vocabulary, it's awareness, it's mindfulness, and we can get there. So I hope you have a beautiful day. And if you feel like it, let me know what the color of your heart is today. I'd love to know. Bye, everyone. See you Wednesday.